Hello, I wanted to make a real quick video here to kind of explain to you a little bit about how we do math contracts or my math class in my classroom in third grade. When students enter my class in third grade, one of the things I like to do is to allow them at the beginning of a chapter, before I've ever taught any of the information, to take a test to show whether or not they already understand those concepts. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds crazy. You haven't taught them these things. How would they know it? Well, little video clips just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's say I was a gymnastics instructor and I have two students walk through my door. This is the first student. And this is the second student, which would probably be more like I am.
So lift my hands down, lift my legs over. 1, 2, 3, 4, not that much. I don't need to go very high.
So that's an example of, as a teacher, sometimes what we get in our classrooms. We have children at two different extremes. Maybe it's not even that much of an extreme. But if Simone Biles walks into my gymnastics class, the last thing that she needs to do is have me teach her how to do a cartwheel. So I feel like math class sometimes is the same way. If students are already very fluent with their multiplication facts and things like that, they might need more challenges in their day rather than just a review of exactly how to do that. So kind of a why do I pretest? It helps me to see what students already know, and then I can use that information to better group my students. It also helps me to share feedback with parents and with the student on things that they're doing well and things that maybe that they can improve upon as well. What does it look like? Well, this week we will walk through the chapter. Everybody in the classroom opens up their books and we look at the pages, and students kind of decide whether or not they think this is things that they know and understand, or they might look at it and say, I don't know anything about this. Both of those scenarios are fine. They're not supposed to know it yet. They're not supposed to know it yet. They're not supposed to be able to come into my beginner gymnastics class and be able to do all those backflips, but some kids can. Once students look through it and they make a decision, yes, I think I know this, or no, I don't know any of this at all, then they get to choose whether they want to pretest or they will work on an activity. So, for instance, our first activity in here is students will be making a donut, and we'll be talking about place value, and they have a little bit of a form to fill out. So students would either choose to do that, or they would choose a pretest to take. Now, when students complete the pretest, they're welcome to complete the activity as well. But the pretest and the activity in the class are going to be focusing on the same information. All right, so once that takes place, I go through the tests, and if somebody has an 85% or higher on the pretest, now remember, this is a topic I've not ever taught yet. If they already know this information, then I'm going to do a couple things. One, I'm going to send a letter home to parents, so you'll get this, and it outlines a lot more of the details of the contract, so you know what's going on. And I'm also going to have a contract here in the classroom that the students and I sit down and talk about. It has on the contract what activities that they're going to complete. I will walk through all of the activities with them. It has behavior expectations on it, and the student signs off on that contract, and I sign off on it too. During the first part of math class, the students who are on a contract are going to work on some different activities. They're not going to sit at their desk and watch me at the board teach the math lesson. If they can already add 5-digit numbers, they don't need to watch me demonstrate how to add 3-digit numbers. So they're going to be still working on addition, but they're going to be working on something that's a little bit more challenging. Every day they will be asked to keep a log and write down the date and what things that they worked on for that day. Some of the projects, for instance, on our first chapter, one of the projects is planning a birthday party. They have a budget, they have to do some research online, and then they have to add up all of those numbers. They might also be encountering decimals, which is not even something we talk about in 3rd grade. But again, that's kind of an extension, kind of a push, and that is to encourage them to keep learning. What does the rest of the class do? Well, if you're not on a learning contract, math class looks probably like most people would expect. You're going to have 15 to 20 minutes of me doing an instruction. I'm going to assign 5 or 6 problems for the students to do. And as they finish those problems, I'm going to check them. Students who get it right away and get it very quickly, they're then going to move on and they can do that extension work as well. Students who are still needing some extra help, those are the ones that I'm going to pull back to my table, or I'm going to have in a small group, and I'm going to give them the extra help that they need. The interesting thing about math contracts is sometimes I have a couple kids who will go on to a contract for multiplication, but they won't get it for geometry, or they won't get it for measurement. And then the same thing happens. Sometimes the kid who was on it for multiplication, they might struggle with some of the other topics. So we all have different levels of knowledge. It's just a way for me as the classroom teacher to make sure that my high students are learning more, to make sure that my on-level students are learning, and to make sure that my students who need the extra support are getting what they need as well. Center work. At the end of class, everybody, the whole class, gets pulled back together. Sometimes students who are on contract work might have things to share with the class on projects that they're working on, but students are usually divided into 3 different groups. I change these groups throughout the year. You're not always with the same group. You're not always with the same people. And they'll work on either iReady math, which kind of covers a lot of their different skills. They might work on reflex math, which is to help with math facts. And students worked on this last year in 2nd grade, so they should be familiar with it. And then I also have topic centers. So I have hands-on centers that they can play games with and do different things like that with. So that's the last 20 minutes of class. And everybody does that. Last step is end of the chapter. When we get to the end of the unit of study, every student, whether you were on a contract, whether you were a fast finisher, whether you were somebody who needed extra help, everybody's going to take the same test, and that will show us whether or not students have gained in their knowledge throughout that. If a student still doesn't do well on the test, that's okay. We have a PLP in our schedule, and you may not have known what that is, but that's a time called personalized learning period. So if I have 4 or 5 students who don't do so great on a test, I can use that PLP time to kind of pull them back, review those concepts again with them. And then we'll keep going over those concepts throughout the year until they get it. So hopefully this explains a little bit more about our math contracts and how they work. I am going to be sending home a little letter like this that kind of outlines that information again for you and kind of takes everything that I said and kind of pushes it together so it's simpler to understand. I'm also going to be going over this with your students. If anybody has any questions, please reach out to me and let me know. I have a lot of talents. Mind reading is not one of them. So definitely let me know. The only hiccup that I usually see is at the very beginning of the school year that some students get upset when they're not on the contract. I reiterate over and over and over. You really aren't supposed to be on the contract. This is just for the students who might happen to have extra information, or they may have learned this, previously, so they happen to know this information. Most, students, this doesn't apply to. But for those students who already have the information, like Simone Biles doesn't need to sit in my class on cartwheels. For students who are like that, I want to be able to give them an option because I think that every student in my classroom deserves to take that step up in their knowledge. Thanks for your time if you made it all the way through my video, and I appreciate parents and your commitment to helping everybody in the classroom. Hope you have a great day. Take care.